There's a really touching story that's come out of New York. And it's a really touching story that I think shows us a new angle on one of our biggest national problems. Here's the story. 2 newborn twins were abandoned in an alleyway, wrapped in brown paper bags, and killed in a rat-infested alleyway in the Bronx. Really, really sad story. Cops found the babies. So they were new, they just came out, just newborn babies, abandoned in an alleyway. This does happen more often than people would recognize. And so what the cops decided to do, around 20 cops in New York, they held a funeral for the babies. They did this at Eternity Funeral Service in the Williamsbridge section of the Bronx. They named the babies Zeke and Zane. Zeke, short for Ezekiel, means God's strength. Zane means God's gift. And it was really a beautiful ceremony, okay, where these two babies had a funeral. Not by the parents, obviously, who were degenerates and killers, but by these cops. You know, we're told the cops are very evil, you know, and they're racist and bigoted. Well, this is a beautiful, beautiful scene. And one of the lieutenants says, "I've never seen a case like this. These were 2 newborn babies who were full term and then put in garbage bags and thrown in a rat-infested backyard. Their little bodies had fractures. This has weighed heavy on every detective that has worked on the case." Wow. Yeah, it's a horrific case. Horrific case. But it's not particularly horrific. The reason it's not particularly horrific is that this happens every single day in this country. And it doesn't just happen once a day in this country. It happens on average 2,362 times each day. The little newborn baby abandoned in the alleyway and killed. What do we say? One day after birth, maybe on the day of his birth? If that baby had been killed a few hours earlier, that would have been not just tolerated, that would have been not just protected by law, that would have not just been conducted in a medical facility with some guy who has an MD doing the butchery. It would have been lauded and celebrated as a woman's right, as reproductive health, as a beautiful, wonderful expression of liberty and freedom and emancipation and gender equality. If you want to think about the abortion issue, because I know that there are apparently a lot more squishes in the Republican Party, and they're a lot squishier even than I thought that they were. Just recognize that abortion is this. Abortion is, it's not even throwing your kid into an alleyway in the Bronx. It's worse than that. At least those kids got to breathe the air and live a little life for, I don't know, an hour or so. With abortion, you don't even get that. You get, with the true, to use a popular phrase, banality of evil, you get a medical doctor in a fluorescent lit room performing the butchery to the adulation and applause of the population. Really puts that in perspective. 2,362 times per day. And the cops can't get over this. These are, this is their job, is to see awful, terrible things, the underbelly of society. And they see this crime in particular, and they say, "Oh my God, this is so heinous that we're gonna throw a funeral for. We're gonna actually take our time and our money and go out and recognize that we need some ritual mourning for this." That's how bad this crime is. Happens almost 2,400 times a day. I'm so glad you liked that clip, but hold up, I need your help on something. Sometimes you may have heard about this. The social media companies, they don't love what we say, okay? And so one way that we fight back against censorship is making sure that people have access to the direct stream, the audio podcast. Okay, you can get that at Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Google Play, wherever you get your podcasts. Just type in The Michael Knowles Show, subscribe there. Maybe you listen there, maybe you watch it on YouTube, maybe, I don't know, whatever you want to do. Subscribe there, make sure you got access. We'll see you next time.